Panozzo, we made it back and we're here for another day, another edition of
Yeah.
Dog in It. And we got some exciting news and we're on a bit of a time crunch. So we're just going to jump right into it. Mike, what's the word this morning? What's the big
Yeah.
story?
The big story this morning is the WCBS, which is the big umbrella association for all cue sports. It encompasses pool, carom, and snooker. Had a board meeting in Birmingham during the World Games yesterday, and the topic of conversation was lifting the ban on the Russian and Belarusian players from pool tournaments, from the major WPA-sponsored events, and also in snooker and carom. But obviously, this is something that affects pool more than those other two sports as far as the number of athletes from Russia or Belarus. So, they haven't sent out a formal announcement yet, but my sources tell me that that this is confirmed and that they're going to be contacting Fedor Gorst and Christina Catch and Margaret Fefilova and telling them that, effective immediately, they're going to be able to play in events again. So this is a huge thing. Kudos to the WPA and the WCBS for getting this right after X number of months. But and because it's such big news and people would rather see Fedor or Christina or Margaret than you and me, you got Fedor here, don't we?
I do, and we're gonna bring him in for some immediate reaction.
Look
And
at this
there he
guy.
is. And look at that reaction, man. Look at that reaction, Fedor. Let's hear it, man. What was it like? Have you heard anything? What was it like seeing Mike's post? Talk about it, man.
Honestly, I woke up 30 minutes ago to the post, and 10 minutes ago you messaged me to join the post. I really have time to think about it, but
So the WCBS hasn't contacted you directly yet?
no, nobody. Then kudos to Mike.
Well, I hope my information is correct then.
If not, this is gonna be real awkward, Mike.
I hope so. Good news this morning.
Yeah. It's great news. You had kind of been hoping this was coming down the road. Had you had any kind of inkling of this? Had you gotten any kind of information from anybody else that this might be coming?
Something, and I thought that last time WPA president, the new president, I forgot his name, he said that WPA and W had a press conference about it at the World Games, and I'm thinking, well, the possibility that they will lift it at the World Games. I didn't really plan on it, so I scheduled all my third because I can't really decide, and in the next few months we can decide for other people. So of course I was thinking about it, but that to happen that quick.
This is how much of a big news it is, because we haven't had this joker on in months, and as soon as he catches a wind that this is what's happening, he decides to jump on. Joey Ryan, welcome to the show, my man.
Hey, let me tell you something. I've been out for a long time, haven't been feeling well, post-COVID stuff, but I am honored to be back on right now. When I heard this news, I was like, I got to get a quick shower and jump on here. Fedor, I'm just very happy for you. I'm curious, what has your interaction been with like some of the other European players during this time that you haven't been playing? Have you been having good conversations with them, or has it been kind of hands off?
No, I mean, most of them messaging me, keep rubbing all this America and Europe, playing all the Euro tours, but we're. But no, I mean, everybody was stewed, and nobody was a jerk to me. So
Let's see. The WCBS lifted the ban on you. Molina Mike lifted the ban on Joey. We're all happy together. And now that the WPA has ruined all your action in the States, Are you excited? Are you looking forward to getting back into these big events?
I'm sorry. I'll think for a minute.
Yeah, no, I was just asking. Things have been pretty good for you in the U.S. As far as playing in tournaments and winning money goes. And now you're going to give that up and go against stiffer competition. But you got to still be looking forward to it, right?
Well, of course, I'm looking forward for. I missed all the structured and well tournaments, because all the tournaments in U.S. they really rank because. Well, it's really different. We're playing that tournament now, and it's 3-day event, which can be done, and it's constantly the same thing over and over and over in Europe, and all the matchroom events and everything's just looking forward to be back.
Yeah.
This would make you essentially eligible for the Mosconi Cup again, Fedor. Is that something that's going to be in the on your sights at all, realistically?
I really don't think it's realistically, because I thought that I'm on the team and I wasn't picked. This year I didn't, and I didn't watch the ranking. So I don't really know who's going to qualify or not. Be happy if they pick me.
Well, the irony in this is that if they do call you today and tell you that the ban has been lifted immediately, effective immediately, you would be eligible for the European Open, but you probably won't go, right?
I won't be able to, because I'm working on my American. I changed my plans a little bit since I didn't know how to ban or not. So I'm trying to get the work, and we already applied for it, but still for at least 1, 2, 3 months.
Yeah.
September or October on, I'm pretty sure I can, and I won't.
Yeah. The U.S. Open for sure you'll play in.
Yeah, U.S. Open I'm playing for sure. And International Open.
Yeah.
So I joined late. I don't want to ask anything that was already asked, but I guess my biggest question for you, Fedor, is, this all, to me, it all came about kind of all of a sudden, the war and everything. And, I'm just curious, with the ban, what was the hardest part for you?
Well, to accept it all, to go through it and think there, and then thinking for 2 days, and maybe that's fair. But, the hardest part was to travel and change plans and being here. But like I said in the previous, lucky because I can't play, and because there wasn't enough competition as before in the United States. I was a favorite where I wasn't, if everybody was playing here. So it wasn't really tough as it was for other Russians or Belarusians, I would say.
Yeah.
I want to know, Fedor, because you've been our guy to kind of get your opinion on things, when it comes to this subject. Did you feel any kind of like responsibility to come on, even though there may have been some tough questions or, like tough conversations at times when it came to this ban, because you're probably the number one player in the world right now?
Yeah, I'm constantly losing the sound. I don't know what actually bad.
No, it's fine. The connection's a little choppy, but
I'm sorry.
I was I was asking, did you feel any kind of responsibility throughout this as far as like being the face and just being available to kind of make sure that this story doesn't get forgotten over the last few months?
Well, I tried to really help me with this. You know, he drove to Louisville and New Albany and spent the day with us, which really, without him, it wouldn't be possible to lift the ban, I think.
Oh.
So
a lot of
yeah,
people,
I mean,
a lot of people getting this done.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have you talked to Christina yet?
For like 3 minutes, I don't know. She's cooking a breakfast now.
Was she excited?
Well, of course, and finally play for her. It means even more, I think, because she play WPBA tournaments in the United States. We play, you know, some bar table tournaments here and play in the open tournaments with men. So now she can finally top females again.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah.
Well, we know you got a match in a little bit against Tony. You lost Hill, I think, yesterday. Who's going to take it down today in an hour?
But I feel like I played really good. Just the stuff he does is I played really good yesterday against Josh. I played like 1,000 TPS, and then I played terrible against Warren and won. But
I saw you make a lot of mistakes against Warren. I was watching last night, and I saw you hit the ball the way I ain't never seen you go and hit it. It was uncharacteristic.
It's crazy. I missed like 5 balls, and suddenly was keep passing on shots because I wasn't sure if I can make them. So I played knit one pocket for 3 hours. But today's a new day since it's back, and I can shoot aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're about to get some. Sounds like you're about to get some breakfast there, Fedor. What's Christina fixing there? What's she cooking?
Probably avocado toast and oatmeal. Probably. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Breakfast of champions.
There you go.
That's what we eat. Yeah. Almost every day.
So I have a question to ask for you. You're driving now, but you don't have a driver's license, right?
No.
But you bought a car.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
But I'm trying to learn. Every parking lot we can stop at, I'm trying to drive. I already know how to drive a little bit. I just need to learn the sign, getting some experience in the city.
I'm sure there's a million pool players in this country that would trade you some driving lessons for some pool lessons.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So really quickly, what's the first event that we'll see you at?
I don't really know the special tournament.
Well, the U.S. Open is October. Will we see you in an event before October?
Yeah. Well, the Predator tournaments before that, right? Some, I think the tournament in Michigan is in September.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll be playing the U.S. Open, the international straight pool before that. I heard there will be a World 8-Ball Championship in Puerto Rico this December. So if this is going to happen, I'll play there as well. I wanted to go to Puerto Rico so bad last year. So it'll be a good vacation and good turn.
Yeah, you've had enough. You've had enough with Des Moines, Iowa, right?
Oh yeah,
I've been to Des Moines, Mike. It ain't that bad.
At least this time we're staying in Well, at least this time we're staying in downtown and not in there. You're stuck in the pool room and you're walking across the street and you're in the hood for a week. At least you have like a 20-minute ride hotel and you can go and walk somewhere in downtown.
Good.
Well, listen, we know you got a lot going on. We'll let you go, man, and get to eating breakfast and get ready for your match. We appreciate your time, Fedor. We wish you all the best, and we're all rooting for you, man. And now the whole world's on notice. He's back. He's back.
Thank you so much, guys. Yep, I'm back.
All right.
All right, later, Fedor.
Good luck,
buddy.
Fedor, get ready.
Later.
Oh man. Well, that was pretty good, boys. And Joey, man, I'm shocked. I can't believe I'm rubbing my eyes here because you're actually in front of me now, Joey.
Yeah, thanks for being.
His hair.
Hey, thanks guys for holding it down and being patient. I had COVID about 5-6 weeks ago now. Wasn't it, Mike? Something like that. And ever since, I've had ringing in my ears real bad, and my head's been locked up. It's been crazy, and I'm like, Mike, I'm just not feeling good. Vertigo, a little dizzy, and everything. And so I finally started feeling better. Had just a little family vacation out to South Carolina. And when I talked to Molina this morning, he told me what was on the agenda for today. I said, I got to jump on.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so
good deal.
We got a question in the chat about the WCBS stream. So here's the latest update: is that we're still going to try to do it. We've gotten some kickback from it yesterday. I think everything's as ironed out as it can be. So hopefully we're not going to have any issues today. Our whole goal here, just to make sure pool gets seen by everyone, and we're as much fans as we are going and doing this other stuff. So we want to see the matches like everybody else, and if we can help by calling in some favors and asking for some help, then we're going to do that. And whatever little pressure we can using this platform that we have in order to do that, because we know all of you guys want to go and watch it. And there's going to be people watching all over the world. So we're excited like you guys are. Just be patient with us. We're going to do our best. And so far that's the plan. So
yeah. People need to understand, the streaming at the World Games, excuse me, is controlled by the World Games Association. I mean, they have their broadcast partners locked up, and they don't allow people to just roll in and stream. They were allowing some of these events to do some streaming in the early matches, but they take over for, medal matches. So we're hoping that someone down there in Birmingham with the billiard group Q Sports group can find a way to get something hooked up today and get us a couple of these matches that we want to see, because there's some rich ones coming up.
It's a lot of really good matchups. Carlo and Albin are going to start here at 11:30. Shane and Filler is going to be at the 2:00. There's other things going on. I mean, we kind of got like an inch, and we're not going to try to take a mile. But although that's more my style than it is, especially the warrior style, Joey out of the bunch, let me tell you, he gets scared if he sees the shadow. So
if I had a nickel for every time you call me soft in Vegas, Mike, I tell you, at least 95 cents.
Every time I have an idea, Joey just looks at me. Are you sure we can do this? And I said, we're doing it.
Just this morning, I'm like, Mike, what if we get 2,000 people on here? We're streaming this amazing match, and all of a sudden they shut us off, and we look like idiots. And Mike's like, well, let's do it.
We're gonna try to do it. I'd rather go down swinging than not take a swing at all. So, and these are exciting matchups. Like, I don't think there's any other premier rotation matchup on earth like that's better than a Shane versus Filler. I mean, that moves the needle like no other in our sport. So when you have something this dynamic, when they're playing for their countries, and I think if it was done right, it could be better than a Mosconi Cup with because they're playing once every 4 years, and it's a race to 11. It's a true gauge, and
you lose, you're out.
That's it. You're done.
And they're both red hot right now too.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of history there. I mean, just so many different storylines to go and talk about when it comes to this matchup. So we'll do our best. I'm just happy that when I brought it up, Joey said, "Oh, I'll come back and I'll help," and I was like, "Perfect." So we're pumped and we're gonna do our best, and that's all we can do, man. So win or lose. So Mike, but thanks a lot for everything as well, man, because this was pretty great when it came to Fedor, and I'm kind of annoyed because you didn't even give me a heads up or nothing. All I get is, did you see my post? My man couldn't even give me, a heads up at all.
Well,
Mike, when did you find out, Mike? Was it last night? Was it this morning?
this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got, a little birdie told me this morning that they had met yesterday and they had confirmed this, and but they were still, ironing out some things and going to announce it. I mean, I don't know what the protocol is going to be, and whether they have to play under a neutral flag. I don't even know what that neutral flag would be. Because what they had been playing in the previous years actually was under the Russian Olympic flag. Even Fedor has, because the IOC kind of put the snap on Russia for doping violations. So they had to play under the Olympic flag. So, but the Olympic Association isn't in real solid with the IOC right now as it is. So I don't know if they're going to, maybe the WCBS has a flag, who knows? So they've got to figure things like that out. And I'm sure that they wanted to get time to contact the players directly. I know we kind of jumped the gun on that one, but that's all right. They'll get over it.
No, but
it's great news. It's something I've been trying to stay in touch with, because I kind of, even when the sports director Ishan Singh was on the show with you recently, he mentioned that they were going to come to Birmingham and they were going to, they were going to float this by the board, and hopefully everybody would buy in. So
yeah, that was actually in response to Fedor's question during that show, where he said,
right.
What if this war goes on indefinitely? How long,
right.
Until you make some kind of ruling? And then he said that they were going to meet down there.
Yeah. So it's, again, kudos to the WCBS and WPA for getting this squared away. I think at the beginning they pretty much did it to be in step with the IOC and the World Games, which is ironically was the first group to ban athletes. Was the World Games immediately said that Russian and Belarusian players couldn't play in the World Games, and that immediately took Fedor and Margaret and Christina out of action.
Wow, so,
they were all
Fedor was qualified as well. I didn't realize that, Mike. I knew
Margaret and Christina. Yeah, they were all qualified for this. And so I think Fedor was, I might be wrong. I know Margaret for sure and Christina were.
Yeah, Margaret for sure was.
And so they got the plug pulled on them. And, so at the beginning, I think that they just did this to be in step with their big associations. But now as time's gone on and the war is still going on, and there's been more discussion about keeping politics out of sports, I think that it's good that the WPA stood up and said, we'll take our chances with the big boss up at the IOC, but we're going to go ahead and let these kids back in and play because it's the right thing to do. So good for them for making this happen.
Do you think? Do you guys think Fedor is going to jump right back in and just be dominant, or do you think it's going to take a little while to kind of get acclimated to the world stage again?
There's 2 more feet on every table he's going to be playing
on. No. I think Fedor's done just fine going and playing pool. I think he'll be in great stroke. I think the pressure will more so be on other players wanting to go and beat Fedor, because I think Fedor will come in with he's the big boy on campus these days, I think, and he's hungry, more importantly. So when you have a top player that's even more motivated than maybe they were before, I think it makes them even more scary, for lack of a better word. And Fedor's a monster. I mean, his cue ball is ridiculous. And I think the only thing is playing on those conditions when you got the slide and the new cloth and, polished balls and all that may take some adjustment. But he's been doing it for quite a bit. And a lot of those guys, like the Shanes of the worlds and the Joshes, they know how to go and adjust, and he'll have to do the same. But he's hitting balls, so they better watch out, because he's a killer. No pun intended.
Yeah, yes. The only thing that I would caution too, though, is that, he's had it pretty cushy for the past 6 months. He's played big matches, long races, things like that. But you get into short race tournaments, he was usually facing 1, maybe 2 players a tournament that had any shot. Now you're looking at round after round of playing guys who are going to be gunning for you, who can make a ball. So I think it might, I don't expect him to falter at all, but I think that he's going to find himself under the gun a little more frequently and a little faster than he has been over the last 6 months. But I don't expect that to be a huge problem for him.
Let's say he wins the U.S. Open. Then what? How much pressure would that put on like a Laley to consider him this year realistically? And I know it's tough to go and win tournaments. Everything's got to go on and have to happen perfectly, and all the stars have to align. But if he were to go and snap off a major or have any kind of consistency over the last 6 months of the year,
I think that not playing in the European championships, the European Open, is going to hurt him a little bit from that standpoint, because I don't think you can go and win one tournament, and the U.S. Open is really going to be the only tournament that he plays in between now and the selection time. I'm not 100% sure that if you're Alex Laley, you're going to let that sway you from all these other guys who've been beating each other up for a year to get to this spot. So that to me would be a tough call, even if he won the U.S. Open. It certainly would be, give you some food for thought, but I'm not 100% sure whether Alex could pull that off, because the guys that he's already looking at, you look at the top 6-7 guys that he's looking at right now, a lot of credentials in there.
Well, you got to expect that Josh, Jason, and there's a third one I'm thinking, and Albin are going to be locks. Well, I would go and bet.
Well, Ruiz is your number one point guy, right?
Ruiz can still. I know Emily and them have been teasing the automatic bid after the European Open. Ruiz can still steal that from Josh, depending on the money that he goes and earns in that event. He can technically still go and be the automatic pick. But
there's going to be 3 automatic picks, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean the first one they announced after the European Open is what I'm saying. Okay. So, like, in other words, Francisco can go and steal that from Josh and be announced in theory after the European Open. So if you expect Josh, Jason, and Albin to go and make the team as an automatic, Ruiz is 4, that really means only one spot's going to be up for grabs.
Yeah, that's the way I'd look at it.
Well, who would you think is going to go and like who else has been on that radar for you, Joey? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I tell you, I like Fedor. I'd pick him if it were me. I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but last year he was left off, right?
Correct.
And it seemed like there were times in that event that they really could have used him, especially early on. I remember the year before, he started a little shaky, but man, then he came through and played real solid after that. And so I really like him. If you're asking me, I'd have to take him if I'm Alex. I mean, who's better than him other than Josh? Nobody in Europe.
No, who's better than him? Who's better than him? You're probably right, but you have to think from the captain's standpoint too. Who's earned it? And so are you going to turn down a guy who's been playing for 12 months and has earned probably that 5th spot and pass him over because you got someone who on paper is just a better player? So it's a touchy thing for those captains of those teams to do, because you have to deal with these guys next year and and all year long. So
yeah, but the Mosconi Cup captain spot is really a win now kind of deal, though, Mike, and especially being a European captain, it's like you really want to go out there with your best 5. I mean, for sure, because there's a lot more pressure. You're expected to win if you're rocking that blue and yellow.
I mean, last year Kachi made the team, and he wasn't top 5. I think Alex would have loved to have had the opportunity to take Federer over Kachi, but because Kachi won the World 10 ball, he almost felt like he had to, right? So you're talking about that merit-based decision as opposed to what you really think was probably going to be better for the team. And I think most everybody agrees that, push comes to shove, he would have rather.
There's no it's in Vegas. Federer's going to be here anyway. And he's got a lot of American fans as well as European fans. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I'd love to go and see the kid go and play. I think he's got 10 years plus of Mosconi Cups to go and make. He's that dynamic of a player for my money. So But it's exciting news, man. What's up,
Mike? Why don't you re-break the news? There's some people who joined. They're wondering what's going on.
Oh, the news is that Joey Ryan's back.
No.
And now the news that broke this morning, or should be breaking officially this afternoon, is that it appears that the WPA, the World Pool Billiards Association, is lifting the ban on Russian and Belarusian players from competing in WPA sanctioned international events, which would open the door for Fedor and Christina Ketch and Margaret Pefilova to be back in action in these big international tournaments. So that's the big news that we're talking about today. Had Fedor on a little bit earlier. He seems super excited, as you can imagine. Although, like I said, they just ruined a lot of his action. The guy made a lot of money this year and didn't have to travel far or expend a lot of money to do it. And now all of a sudden he's going to have to travel to the US Open and travel to Europe and spend a lot more money to get to battle it out with the best players in the world. I'd be anxious to see what his feelings going to be 6 months from now.
I think I liked his response, though, when it came to mentioning Christina, because she would be a favorite to go and battle Kelly in a lot of those WPBA events, I would think, once she gets in full swing. And her being able to get a chance to go and make some money out there would be phenomenal as well for her. And a lot of the other players, there's a ton of other top Russian players who'll be back on the world stage who are capable of going and snapping off a major, So it's really good news.
The Christina thing's interesting because it's going to be interesting to see how the WPBA, what their response is to this, because we talked to her before and she was kind of in that position where if the ban gets lifted, can she still play in a WPBA tournament this year? Because she elected to not join the WPBA and to play in these other events, correct? So that kind of banned her from playing WPBA this year. Her other option was to be a WPBA member and not play in any events this year until the ban is lifted. So maybe we need to have Lori John back on it.
Yeah, Melina would love to have Lori John back on and debate this.
Let me hold on. I'm gonna get her on the phone here. So I may or may not be blocked after the last time we had her on.
Yeah, so I am interested to see what the WPBA response is. Hopefully, to me, hopefully they would be smart enough to just say, throw their arms out, welcome her back, and let's play pool.
I don't think they care about bad publicity, Mike, after what happened.
Well, no, they don't. But if they you would want to see them wrap their arms around Christina and invite her back. But then all of a sudden you got April looking at them saying, "Now wait a second here. You're going against your rules and letting her back in, but I'm still banned." So there's just a lot of it's just it's another thing it's another good topic for another show, Mike.
We can reach out and we can have her on and we can talk to
Christina. We'll have Christina and Lori John on the same show.
I love it. Yeah, let's put some fire in the grass. I'm not afraid of it. Joey, on the other hand, look, he's already turning red. He's been here for 5 minutes. So,
you got to ease me back into this, Mike. I've been sick for a while now. You just ease me back in. No confrontation.
Got to get back on the horse and ride, man.
This is true. All right, so listen, we're gonna end the show because we got some other stuff we got to go and work on. Mike, just a heads up, just let everybody know our guy's on the way over there right now. Let Shane know he'll be there like in 15 minutes. So this was 5 minutes ago. Let him know he'll be there in 20. So give him a heads up. We're gonna work on the stream, you guys. So keep the notifications on, keep the follow on, and we're gonna do our best for you. So stay tuned, and we appreciate everybody for tuning in. And hopefully we'll be on again shortly. Later, y'all.
Later.